Peking duck. My name's Andy. I came here to Beijing from Houston. George, I got the key, but your place sucks. I felt like a cran sardine in the elevator.
Andy, be quiet. Don't make so much noise.
Relax, George. There's no one in the hallway. We still got time. I prepared everything on the flight over here. I'll let you know how it went in just a bit. George is my uncle and also my best friend. He's a really great dude, persistently chasing his dreams and willing to give it his all.
Okay, Andy, I already ordered the food. What you need is on the first drawer on the left. But if it's already too late now, then just forget it. I'm afraid she might have heard your voice just now.
George's girlfriend, a South Korean girl, lives across the hall. Their relationship is pretty much just a typical love story. Love at first sight and then dying to be with each other of every minute of every day. But not even 2 weeks later, things went south quick. And now, they're really at odds with each other.
Hi. Hi. 你的外卖，用餐一份。
Oh, wait.
No. 给个好评，哥们儿。
So being George's best friend, I can't let the girl get off easy. Peking duck originated 1,000 years ago. The nomadic hunters of northern China hunted an all-white wild duck in the valleys of the grasslands. Then, in 1271, Kublai Khan, a descendant of Genghis Khan, replaced the southern Song dynasty in the central plains and established Beijing as his capital. This kind of all-white wild duck soon became a favorite dish amongst the royal family. So you take your fork and knife, well, Chinese people typically use chopsticks, but not the point, and you eat. The skin is crisp with an amber color and glazed texture, melting on the tongue as soon as you take a bite. If you're a girl, typically you'll have a bowl of sugar here to dip the skin in after you dip it in the sauce. Think about it. She's a really picky eater and a vegan who is totally full of herself. What will she do when she sees the skin? Sliced duck, meat, bones, and heads chopped into 12 halves and just sitting there. It's a really expensive meal, mind you. Too crazy, Silk Road, Chinese myths and the first emperor of China. Our plan didn't work out yesterday. George had me on the phone the whole night, so I'm exhausted today and my head's killing me. The beef pie, a type of halal food, was introduced to Tang Dynasty more than 1,000 years ago by Persian merchants on the Silk Road. Fresh beef, green onion, and cabbage all wrapped up in a fresh, crispy outer bread layer. Wonton, a classic dish in traditional Chinese cuisine, similar to dumplings. In the north, it's referred to as huandun, and in the south, it's referred to as yuntun. The huandun name relates back to an ancient Chinese myth. A hero named Pangu was the son of the mythical dragon, similar to Gaia in ancient Greek mythology. He created the heavens and earth by splitting the universe into two with a giant axe. Before that, the universe was in a chaotic, unitary state, also called huandun. It's George's fault, really. He's always giving in to her, even if she's being aggressive. He never stands up for himself. So at this point, she's already become used to bullying him. And with her, if you give an inch, she'll take a mile. That's just human nature. Sweet and sour pork is famous throughout all styles of Chinese cuisine. The first person to ever eat it was actually the first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang. It was his mom who cooked it for him. The young emperor liked the sweet and sour style, so his mother came up with a delicious sweet and sour sauce. She took the tender meat from the pork tenderloin area, added a layer of malt flour, and then fried it in a pan with hot oil. Once fried to a nice golden brown color, she put it on a plate and poured on the thick sweet and sour sauce, a golden piece of tenderloin fresh out of the frying pan, smothered in a sticky sweet and sour sauce. The fried outer layer crispy and hot, and the tenderloin tender and juicy. The first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang, is known for conquering the 6 states and unifying the entire nation. His mother is a legend too. George saw the look in her eyes, angry and fierce, the look of a killer. God, I don't know how you could fall in love with such a girl. God of War. From tomorrow, I'll take the orders and arrange her meals. Thus, I can distance George from all the trouble. In breakfast, we have milk and fried chicken legs. It's not bad. Lunch is a little bit extreme and overheated, which is rice and hot spicy chicken. Supper is Online Celebrity, a super cool God of War. Just about every gamer in the world knows the joke from League of Legends, Mantis Shrimp, come with me and let's find some friends. This is the Mantis Shrimp. The war god of the depth sea is extraordinarily aggressive. Bionic scientists at the University of California have studied mantis shrimps in details and tried to simulate them by using 3D printing to form a series of mechanical analyses and tests. This is the first of the Mantis Shrimp. According to scientific tests with modern instruments, this fish could receive up to a force of 1,500 newtons when it attacks its prey. Wow! Equivalent to 150 kilos. Just imagine. The shockwave incurred is equivalent to traveling from the west coast of the US to Siberia of Russia. Lol. This is the opinion of its netizens and is kind of exaggerating. However, it is true that shrimp fish is super strong material, and at present, it has great application value and bright market prospects, including strengthened shields, body armors, bulletproof helmets, and even tanks, armored vehicles, nuclear explosion shelters.
Andy, I told you to be careful.
It's fine, George. I had my hood on. There's no way she saw me. I went and hid behind the elevators. There's one thing for sure, though. She's definitely pissed.
Listen, Andy, these jokes are just for fun. You have to make sure she doesn't get hurt. You promised me this.
Relax, George. If she comes to the door looking for you, I'll just tell her it was my idea. She'll have no idea it was you. There's no way she'll ever know. It's the perfect crime, man.
Okay, Andy, I'm trusting you.
George, if you do end up marrying this girl, can I start calling her Aunt Yunhee? What do you think? Bring it on, my oh so arrogant aunt. Literature, calligrapher, painter, and gourmet. Dompo pork is also known as Dompo braised pork. It is a famous dish in Han culture, the pork and additional ingredients being braised over a slow fire. In 1077 AD, the Yellow River burst to Suzhou. Su Shi, a legendary figure who held a position in history of ancient Chinese literature and art, happened to be an official in Suzhou. Su Shi prevented wealthy merchants from abandoning the Suzhou city and mobilized the army and civilians to build dikes and dams to fight against the flood until it receded. To extend gratitude to Su Shi, Suzhou people slaughtered pigs and sheep and headed for the official resident to pay tribute to Su Shi. Feeling hard to turn down the warm-hearted offer, Su Shi cooked by himself, instructed his family to braise the pork and mutton and give them back to soldiers and civilians who had fought hard in the flood. Before that, Su Shi was only known as great talent, but few people knew that Su Shi was also a gourmet. Because Su Shi was under the pseudonym of Su Dompo, the dish was affectionately called Dompo pork by later generations. It is brightly colored and lustrous and tastes soft but not rotten, fat but not greasy. It's been passed down and now has become an indispensable main dish in Chinese banquet. Would have never guessed, eh? Food, poetry, and the sounds of the ocean together. I've been up practically all night making this video. God, she's evil. I can't believe she wasted all that food. That's awful. There's no evidence. I have to get some evidence before I can convince George of what I'm seeing. A man can be childish with love, but not stupid. I should do something for George to wake him up. Shoot yourself in the foot. In general, a girl who's arrogant and a picky eater, who gets rid of food because it's unpalatable, despite the cost, would seem to have room for interpretation. But if she's so self-indulgent as to throw away all the food and flowers as trash, that's proof of how cold and determined this woman is towards George. The Chinese word huoguo, hot pot, comes from the sound of water, gudong. Another name for hot pot is gudong gong, which mimics the sound of water. Hot pot is a unique creation of Chinese cuisine. The large pot is heated until broth comes to a boil, and then people can take a variety of different foods and dip them in to cook. The pot holds heat well and combines both broth and seasonings and different food items dipped and create a hot, fresh, out-of-pot meal. Hot pot is popular throughout China and Southeast Asia with all sorts of different kinds of pots, spicy pots, two-sided pots, light broth pots, and so on. I'm in a total mess now, George. Yoon-hee went out early in the morning. I heard that she was accompanying the visiting Korean delegation to go sightseeing, and there seemed to be a cocktail party in the evening. Do you understand now? We seem to have been tricked by her. God, I only ordered 2 hot pots. How come there's been so much food?
It's
just a small get-together. We don't need all this.
We have rules. I'm afraid I can't.
We can't eat all this, though. I'll make sure you get a good review if you take it back. Shoot yourself in the foot. You win this one. It's not over yet, though. We'll see who's laughing in the end. Why? I'm screwed. She's definitely onto us. Bring it on. I've been expecting this for so long. This is Andy, not George. I won't escape. Calm down. Look straight ahead and no dodge. I'll show you what a real battle is.
Hi, Andy. I'm Eun-hee. Here is George's paper. I looked it over yesterday. Would you take it from him, please? Oh, right. When you're done with the pots and silverware, don't forget to call the people to pick them up. And by the way, sorry again about all the trouble yesterday. I heard from George that you like Chinese food as much as I do. Do you want some change? This is a Korean restaurant. They serve very authentic Korean barbecue. I think you'll like it. Bye, Andy.
George, Yoon-hee just gave me this menu. I'll send you a picture of it. It has pork, beef, and chicken. Didn't you say she's a really picky eater and a vegan? What the heck, George? You just sent me here to mess with me? And the paper! I saw this discussion on Peking duck, sweet and sour pork, typhoon shelter mantis shrimp, dongpo pork, hot pot, and details. Now I understand. It was all you and Yoon-hee who played me. You conspired with her. Enough, George. I don't want to hear it.
Andy, I'm so proud of you. You've managed to go a whole week without eating any junk food. And you've become a real food connoisseur at the same point.
Hey Andy, I heard you're trying to get good with the girl.
And I see your online video game time has come way down this week.
Andy, my Andy's so serious about researching Chinese cuisine.
Sorry, Andy. Me and NC were just thinking that, you should spend more time with the family and not be cooped up in your room all day playing video games. But, look at you now. You've changed so much.
Your uncle was just having fun with you, Andy. Don't take it so hard.
Yeah, it's not like you haven't pranked others, too.
Oh, also, Andy, I booked you tickets on the high-speed rail to come to Chengdu this afternoon with NC. Well, we can all meet up here. Oh, that's probably NC right now. Make sure to go get the door and be polite.
Why?